This will make you feel better about the last time you had an embarrassing injury. 2,000 people every single year go to the ER after being injured by this. Is it a houseplant, a laundry basket, or a pet? The most embarrassing thing happened to Stephanie at the grocery store, but what the stranger did behind her I think is going to make you smile. How to make everyone feel welcome at your cookout this summer and level up your life. And the difference between knowledge and wisdom. It's your Daily Joy Scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is...
If you've had an embarrassing injury, you're not alone. 2,000 people in the U.S. visit the ER each year after being injured by a house plant.
This is Linda. Several years back, I stopped to get gas before I headed to Nebraska to visit my mom, and I tripped over the gas hose. Well, I decided to step over it. I tripped and fell right on that big middle cement part that holds the pumps and broke my nose.
Oh, no!
So I had to go to Nebraska with all black and blue nose to visit my mom.
When you pulled in to finally see your mom, did you say, "See, Mom, see how much I love you"? And you pointed at the nose?
Right, yes.
Don't know if you missed the confession from Linda a few minutes ago. She said, "Andy, I actually tripped on the gas hose and broke my nose. Ouch!" And Betty, what's your embarrassing injury?
I had just got done with a job interview, and I tripped just like she did, but instead of breaking a nose, I went and hit that concrete and cut my lip and had to go and get stitches.
Okay, now that I'm hearing that it happened to two people, now I'm starting to think, are the hoses out to get us?
I think so. I thought I was the only klutz, and she made me smile.
This is a safe space to confess your embarrassing injury.
Right before going into a client appointment, I had papers on the car and they were blowing away. So as I slammed the door with my left hand, my right hand went for the papers and I slammed my own hand in my own car door.
Oh, Steve, I hope that at the least you learned not to multitask when you were leaving your car.
Yeah. No, I should only do one thing ever.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
Stephanie was buying food at the grocery store for her family, but at the checkout terminal, as she was trying to finish the transaction, it made the dreaded beep noise and told her her card was declined for over withdrawal. She'd been laid off from work for a while now and just is barely making ends meet. And as she quickly explained to the cashier that she'd have to start putting some things away, the man in line behind her stepped forward and said, "I'll pay for all your groceries." Stephanie was speechless. And the man explained why he did it. He said, "Someone did the same thing for me several years ago. This is my way to pay it forward. And I hope you can do the same someday." They were dangerous times. The religious authorities considered Jesus like a criminal. And because of their jealousy, they had been waiting for a long time to arrest him and crucify him. And that moment came in the form of someone who followed Jesus the closest. Judas came to them and offered to betray Jesus. And I'm sure you've asked this question I have. Why did Judas do it? I think maybe the better question is, how do I avoid becoming Judas in my life? Because Judas followed Jesus. He did all the right things. He shared Jesus' love with others. He was right there with them, seeing the miracles, experiencing it all. And he still decided to go the other way. If you have a hard time with taking that time to have some self-care in your life, it might be because of this. This is one of the big things for me. Believing that you aren't worthy of that love and tenderness from yourself. Maybe when you look inward, you only see all the ways that you don't measure up. Here's the good news for you. God looks at you as well inside. He can see everything. He knows everything. And he sees his child, deserving of love and grace and all good things. And just like it says in the Bible, God chooses to dwell in you. And that means you are worthy and adored just as you are. Here's how to make everyone feel welcome at your cookout this summer and level up your life. Someone looks awkward or alone at your get-together, give them a mission. Something small like, picking snacks or grabbing some extra napkins. It helps them focus on the task at hand and not talking to other people. And as a guy, I get this. I can't just go up to people and talk to them. I always have to be doing something, and then the conversation just flows from there. There comes a time when everyone has to go out on their own. Sometimes people choose to do it later than they should, and sometimes sooner. So there was a young man who left his home too soon and asked Dad for his inheritance. He soon found himself out of money and out of friends. He was so hungry, he sees a farm nearby and he gets on his hands and feet and starts eating the slop that the farmer had put in the trough for the pigs. And then he realized the workers at home where he left had more than enough to eat while he was starving. So at the moment where he hit rock bottom, he decided to get up and go home. And on the way, he was practicing what he would say to his dad. Dad, I've been a fool. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Let me work for you, please, just as a servant. But while he was rehearsing those lines and still far away from the house, the father who had been watching for days suddenly saw him and ran to meet him. Now, in their culture at that time, important men wouldn't run. But because of his love, the father endured shame, hugged his son, and said, we're going to have a feast tonight because you're home. That is how God welcomes his runaway children. It's one word, but it is a complete sentence. And if you're a people pleaser like me, know this: no is all you have to say. My friend Jules put it this way, that boundaries are not obstacles to overcome, test, push through, or ignore. Because it's okay to just say no and not have to give a reason why. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. It's your daily joy scroll.
Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is classified as a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. You don't have to open your mouth and dump out everything that's going on in your brain. Be that quiet man in the corner. You got something to say that's good, beneficial, helpful, or properly corrective at the proper time, then say it. Otherwise, be wise. Talking all the time about everything to everybody, that's not an indication of the wise.
If it doesn't seem like God is answering your prayers, when you're specific with God in prayer, he will be specific in his answers. You can trust him with your specific needs. And it starts right now by just saying, hey, God, I need this today. And I trust that you will provide for my needs. It's officially summer. Things I'm excited for: cookouts, lots of watermelon, time jumping in some sort of body of water. Things I'm less excited about, those things that will be biting me.
You know, anybody that doesn't believe in sin and, things like that, mosquitoes have to be part of the curse.
Yeah, they're not going to be in heaven, right?
That's right.
It's so easy to thank God for the times he shows up and he does great things. And you're like, oh, I got this because of you, God. Thank you so much. But what about the opposite? The other day, I'm working in the garage. I'm building shelves. I am sawing a board in half. And for whatever reason, usually I have eye protection because I just wear glasses, right? I never have to worry about having eye protection. And I didn't have my glasses on for some reason. All of a sudden, this chunk of wood flies toward my eye. I do a combination of a flinch. It probably looked really dorky, but I felt like I was in the Matrix, right? Just like slow-mo, trying to avoid it. And so instead of it hitting me directly in the eye, I closed my eyelid enough where it hit my eyelid. And so there's this giant scab there. If this thing was a direct hit, who knows? I could have lost vision the rest of my life. It was that scary. And I thought, I don't often do this, and I need to more, but thank you, God, for saving me from big and little things every single day. When Ahmed stood at the stage to give the commencement speech, his classmates must have been confused. See, he's nonverbal. And even if he just wrote a speech, there wasn't anyone there with him reading his words. But through technology, he helped build himself. An app helped give him a voice so he could tell his classmates, your life is a relay race. Every time you achieve something, you pass the baton to the next person. That person you're passing the baton to, it's you.